In this tutorial, we're going to examine how to create folders to organize our email messages and also how to create automated filters which will redirect certain messages directly into folders without any intervention. This is useful for times when we receive emails which are A, either unwanted, or B, emails that are not particularly urgent that we could look at any time. So the first step, of course, is to create the folders themselves. Some of you may have done this. So we click Folders, create a new folder. Let's imagine that we have a friend, a colleague, or a relative who insists on sending us everything that they find amusing or inspirational. And while we enjoy some of the material, we don't need to look at it or have it cluttering our inboxes. So we're going to put that in a folder called Maybe Later. We'll leave this default as a subfolder of the inbox. We will not check this checkbox. If we do that, the only thing our new folder will be able to contain is subfolders. It won't be able to contain messages. So it's important to leave that unchecked. We click on Create. And we don't see it right away, but if we come over here and just hit refresh, there's our Maybe Later folder. So now we can put that to use. We're going to go to Options up here on the top menu and Message Filters. We don't have any filters yet, so we're going to click New. And we're going to say that if it's from somebody called cal@deoblog.com, we're going to move all his messages into the Maybe Later folder. And then we submit that. Make sure we've got the email address correct, otherwise the filter won't work. And there's our new filter. Now we need to test it out. So we go outside the system because we have to use a different email address for this. So we're in Gmail here. We're going to go Compose Mail. So sending it to the Chinook address, we're going to send it from this address that we created the filter for. And we're going to ship off that message and see what happens to it. So we click Send. It's gone off. We go back to our Chinook email. And we go to our inbox. Oh, it's not there. Well, try Maybe Later. And there it is, moved directly into that folder without us having to touch it. Now we can read those messages at leisure. Keep in mind, of course, that we directed that to the Maybe Later folder. We could have just as easily, if we were less pleased about receiving that kind of email, put it directly to trash. The one warning that I would have is that I'm redirecting everything from that person to the trash folder. So I really have to check my trash every once in a while to make sure I haven't redirected an inappropriate message. We could also, if we go back there, go back to Message Filters, just to point out, we can also search for things in the subject header. So let's say that we were receiving annoying tech tips from someone in e-learning. We could search for those and we could redirect them into the Maybe Later folder or into the trash folder. So that's how we use filters to redirect mail. We're going to show you one other way of handling mail. Go back to my options and go to Message Highlighting. This one's a little more subtle. I'm just going to delete this one, start from scratch. So we click on New to create a new message highlighting. And let's say that we call this one Tech Tips. Now we choose a color for the highlighting. So in this case, let's make it something fairly dramatic. We'll go with a red. And we say that the subject, well, let's go with who it's from. And we submit that once we're done. So anything from this person is going to be highlighted in red. Submit that. Now we're going to go back. Actually, let's just compose it here. And we'll send that off. And here we are back at our inbox, and we can see in fact that that message has appeared now with a red highlight. If you belong to a mailing list, you could create a filter that anything addressed to the mailing list becomes a certain color, and then you can automatically categorize those messages as being different from those that are mailed directly to you. There are a number of ways that this can be used. It can be used according to subject. It can be used according to who sent it. And it can be used according to the email address it was sent to. So there's a couple of alternatives of dealing with messages to make your email easier to manage, putting them in folders or highlighting them.